Today we're going to be very much freestyling this. I'm just going to hit recording and see what happens. Hello, this is Baby from Plenty of Fish again. Thank you for tuning in. I'm way too far. I don't ever have the perfect filming setup. I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what's a good angle to film video in this house. But soon it's going to be pointless because I have never mentioned this, but we are moving this summer. We're moving back to our own place, so it's not like a new place. We've been renting that place out for the past few years as we spend time here with my parents. Ooh, I'm sorry. That's a huge bumblebee out there. So big and fluffy. All I'm gonna say is we have the plan to move back into our own place that we've been renting out for the past few years. It's a smaller space than where we are right now, but it's gonna be in a great, probably the best school district in the area I live in. And my daughter is going into kindergarten after this summer. So we want her to be able to go to the public school right there. So regardless of what kind of filming setup I figure out here, it's not gonna be really that useful for much longer. So without further ado, I want to get into today's video. Today's video, we are going to do this long overdue, kind of like an introduction. I mean, I already introduced my products through one way or another. I just want to do a more like a formal introduction to all the 3D printed plant supplies I've been selling on my Etsy store, and also to talk about a little bit of the designing background, the story behind how they were created. Make it sound so dramatic. There's not much dramatic story. It's more so just this thing happened and I'm sharing how it happened. So this is kind of gonna be a Q&A without a Q, just an A. So kind of anticipating what kind of things people want to know and give you the info. You are going to be hearing a lot of loud noise if my noise canceling in the editing software doesn't do that great of job, is because I'm currently printing stuff right now. At the beginning of my channel, I used to have this notebook that I carry around and I reference to from time to time when I made those like more information focused videos. But now I'm just freestyling all the time. Baby in the house, freestyle on the Plant channel. Freestyling. I feel pretty good about having this channel now and the store as well, because I feel like I found my niche. Don't you just hear that word being thrown around so much on YouTube among content creators, or especially those channels tell you how to create contents? They always talk about how you need to have a niche and then you will find your targeted audience easier. I do have a feeling that I did find my own niche, which is a very, I wouldn't say rare, but maybe unusual or uncommon combination of a artist who's also a tech nerd who's into Planty stuff. What do we call that? A very Planty tech nerdy artist. Just all three of these qualities combined together, I think that created my niche. And that might be why that I'm starting to feel more confident about the videos I make. Because at the beginning, I was too concerned about, is this video informative enough? Oh, is this video talking too much about other things? You're not focusing on plants. Well, if it's not fully focusing on plants, so be it. I still show off my plants from time to time, which I am gonna do some of that today. But if it's not plant focused, if you talk a lot about like the 3D printing stuff, that's fine. You're still kind of focusing on this new niche that you discovered yourself, right? And people that are into that will stay. People that feel like, oh, I'm not really subscribed to this channel for this kind of content, I'm out of here, that's fine too. So I think the main thing with YouTube content creating, I realized that you just have to be yourself and do what you want to do, and then the right audience will come. So thank you for being my audience. Let's actually get into the goodies, okay? So in my first collection of 3D printed products, currently, I would say the best sellers are the self-watering pots. It didn't start it out that way. At the beginning, I was getting more orders for the smaller things like the trellises. But after this whole month or so, I think I've sold mostly 3D printed self-watering pots. Those planters are very well received by all the customers I have encountered, and there are a few reasons they listed. First is they like the quality. Second is they like the wide variety of colors to choose from. And three is they're very lightweight. Because I actually did have one person asking me, are these supposed to be lightweight because they're 3D printed? Because they want to put a bunch of planters on like these floating shelves on the wall, and they don't want too much weight on top of that. And I actually 100% agree this is the best way to utilize these planters, one of the best ways to utilize them, because they're so lightweight. I did a thing after I started selling these self-watering pots. I contacted a few YouTubers, and all of them are my favorites that I watch continuously ever since when I started keeping plants. And one of them got back to me. So thank you, Anna with Plants. I'm so grateful that she said yes to me sending her my products for her to try out. I think she goes by Anastasia. Yeah, Anna with Plants. Sorry for pronouncing your name that way. I say Anna is because Anastasia is a Greek name. So I'm so influenced by my husband and his side of the family and friends that when we see name Anna, we always say Anna, because that's the Greek way. I was watching one of her recent video where she was, I think, rearranging or switching out or changing the shelves in the Mills Bowl cabinet. By the way, I use the same shelves. I got the exact same ones from Amazon. When she was doing that, I noticed there are a few 3D, at least one that I definitely noticed is one that I've seen on Etsy before and wondered, oh, how hard would it be to make one of these? It's a self-watering pot that has is it an alocasia leaf shape on it? And then I also saw in that video that she showed a few, the fan cover for the fan you use in the greenhouse cabinet. They are the 3D printed ones too. And I don't know if she used the same store, because there's another story here. This is the store I'm talking about. The store owner's name is Robert. I bought stuff from him in his store. He sells 3D printed all the greenhouse cabinet accessories. Like some of them are like the fan cover, and there's also these attachments or adapters or for the grow lights, all sorts of things like that, 3D printed. And I first was exposed to 3D printed products that way. And he also kindly ordered some of those, these self-watering pots from me. After he ordered those from me, he said to me that I really like these pots that you have. Did you 3D print these? Because, he sells 3D printed stuff. So his first reaction is, oh, are these 3D printed? And I told him, no, actually I bought these from suppliers. I wish I can, but I don't really have the time to do all that. But then I said, funny enough, I do have a 3D background. Like I used to do, 3D modeling type of jobs, that it would be nice to do that eventually. He said, oh yeah, based on my estimate, this is how long each planter like the one you're selling would take to print and how much it could cost, like how much money you can make. And then I didn't think too much of that at the time. But this is kind of how my brain works. At night, when I was having a hard time falling asleep, I started thinking about everything he just said. I can make my own planters. I can make my own planters. But I just said, the point is I don't have the time to do that. I have 2 kids. I'm busy. But how many more things I'm gonna say no to just because I'm a mom? That day, I decided I am gonna try 3D printing because a total stranger told me to. So thank you, Robert. Because of you, I started my 3D printing business. Self-watering pots, and the original release include 3 sizes, 3-inch, 4-inch, and 5-inch. And not long after that, I decided to make a baby one. That is my 2.5-inch cutie patootie self-watering pots. And basic is the only style I designed this miniature version of. I'm not gonna call it miniature anymore because now we have another mini version I'm gonna talk about later. So here is one Polynera planted in the Amazon pot. And here is one potted in my own 2.5 cutie patootie. So let me see, how do I show you? These are not too wet. So this is the insert from the Amazon one. And I'm gonna take mine out of my little cutie patootie pot. Can you see that the size is pretty much identical? Yeah, the opening on this one might be slightly bigger, but it doesn't really hold much more substrate in it. So both of them are technically 2.5 inches. So I created these pots for starter plants. I think that's the perfect size for starter plants, either for Hoya cuttings. They already established roots and you want to transfer them into their first own planter. And I think that size is perfect. You can use this one for soil as well. I have some of them in soil, like here. This one, oh, that is the other Polynera variation, the silver one. What's it called? Brigade? Whatever it is. Well, it never, ooh. You know, it always grows me out when I take the thing out and I don't think you can see them, the little critters in there. These are springtails, I believe. They're not harmful, but just every time I take these things out and look at the bottom of these planters, I always find them. Especially if you have a little bit of sitting water, then they're just hopping around. They're healthy. They're healthy for your plant. It's just kind of, you know, especially when you see so many of them at a time. So this one is a cutting I got from Etsy myself, actually. It's rooted. It's very, very well rooted. And then on this side, you see there's even some newer roots, right? And it has a huge root system underneath. I've checked multiple times to see. You tug on it, doesn't even move. So it's very well rooted and it's like attached to the substrate. However, it's alive and I think doing okay, but there has not been a new growth point. I've had this cutting for months now, okay, many months now. There are just no sign of it pushing out any new growth point or activating any new growth point. And I know for a fact that it's possible sometimes that you might receive a node cutting that's already, I think it's called like a spent node, meaning that it has already used up all the potential to activate new growth point, so it will never push out a growth point. Sometimes these things can happen. You can receive a cutting that never grow into anything and it sucks. It sucks for the buyer, really. So yeah, so I was saying that, I was showing you that one, I kept it in the same cutie patootie pot, but it's in soil substrate. But all the others, they're in a pond, semi-hydro, and I found that 2.5 inches to be the perfect size for this style of plants. So yeah, so I added the 2.5 inches to the basic style lineup. I'm gonna get to the next style, which is wave. Wave is also a very popular style. I would say, okay, I'm gonna call everything popular because I feel like from my perspective, whenever people order these styles of planters, they order them in like a whole bunch, like a larger quantity. Like they will be ordering like the same style in different sizes. Oh yeah, because I added a separate listing that's called a combo set, which in one set, you get the same style, same color in 3 sizes, like a 3, 4, 5, like that. And then yes, which brings us to the next style, edge. I printed so many of my planters in this style because I didn't realize it, but it ended up being my personal favorite. Oh, I have some here, just the smaller ones. I have so many of these sitting around. My kids has been playing with my planters, like the test prints, because I have so many of these around the house. And my son, he's 19 months old. He's in that stage where stacking toys are still so interesting and amazing to him. So yeah, so this is the edge style. As you can see, it has all these irregular edges, and that's why I call it edge. Well, because it's irregular, instead of being more uniform shape like wave and basic, printing wise, I ran into many more technical issues with this style, especially when you get to the larger size. And now I'm gonna get to what's coming next. What's coming next is actually something big. Dun 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 dun! Look how big they are! Oh my God. These are our giant jumbo pots. So this is what I decided to name them, the jumbo pots.
Hi, so I was just editing and I noticed there's a part of the video that didn't connect very well because there's some explanation needed to be done. So there is this type of material called silk filament, especially the color changing one. I was at one point discontinuing using them for my shop because the color had some inconsistency. And here what I'm talking about is this particular filament that is from kind of like a magenta red to green, and the transition is very choppy. And originally I thought that's a flaw and it didn't look good, but this clip here was me holding up a jumbo pod printed in this color and it looked actually amazing.
Why does it look so cool? Like this color blending here looks so dramatic when it's not perfect. Like, oh, do I need to go back to stock up on these? Okay, please, please, if you don't comment on anything else, please comment on this. Do you think this unevenness, this crazy color transition, do you think it's cool or do you think it looks like a mistake? And second question, if you think it looks cool here, do you think I should keep it on just the basic or, you know, even the wave, the more uniform shape model? Or you think it's okay on this, you know, edge model as well? Because it definitely looks better and smoother, in my opinion, on this with all the craziness, right? It looks more crazy here. So what do you think? Too many things to talk about. Oh my God, I'm making these models way too fast. My husband's like, you need to sleep. You need to stop modeling for one night. I'm like, do you know me? Have you ever met someone in the 3D film industry? 3D modelers, animators, they do not sleep. After going to school for 4 years and then working in the industry for several more, and you just get used to the abuse. And you stop asking for what you deserve. You don't want a raise. You don't want overtime pay. You don't want vacation. You just want to work on a feature film. And at the end of the movie, when everybody has already left the theater, you are the only one sitting there looking and looking, waiting for the end credit to go. And suddenly, you spot your own name among other thousands of people's name. And you're like, that's me, that's me. 1 second later, it's gone. And that's what I used to live for, but I don't anymore, okay? So, but the habit stayed, like staying up late, doing stuff. So yeah, I have been pushing out a lot of new designs, but I'm enjoying it. I don't have a deadline. I'm my own boss. I do things according to my own schedule, which is a crazy mom of two schedule. Though at times, the schedule drives me crazy, but I am absolutely enjoying 300%, 1000% of this whole hassle. Oh yeah, so quickly mention there are 2 products I have since released. They are new, but I haven't really mentioned it here because they are already live now on my shop. One is Corm. These are the cute little alocasia Corm cups. And we've seen these kind of cups on Etsy a lot, but usually you see them in these, you know, pre-arranged little setup with just a plastic outer cup, a plastic insert, and a wick, and sometimes a little dome on top. Those are usually just people bought these materials that are intended for food, dessert, shots, and they put them together. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think they're a cute idea. A lot of sellers use that for their own propagation or corm or alocasia plantlet that they sell to people. I also receive seeds, anthurium seeds in that kind of setup too. So these are the 2-inch prop corm. I know, like it's a name I came up with myself, like, you know, popcorn. But I'm having a hard time saying it quick. So these are the little prop corm cups. And I don't have a wick on this one for some reason. Yeah, I have a wick on this one. Sorry, this insert is slightly dirty because I've used it to test it. So there's a wick at the bottom, and this is the 2-inch little insert. Also, you can get that on Amazon. Also, I will include links. And this is one of the sample. And actually, the sample is in a very unique, cool color. This is called a meteor. So it's one of those galaxy celestial type of shimmer color. It's kind of like a brownish, semi-translucent base color with some green and gold shimmer. And I also have 2 more samples here in a translucent, like for those of you that want to, oh my God. See these pots? They are very, very solid. They don't break and they bounce back up and they're lightweight. So yeah, this is in the translucent material. And see, you can see my finger inside. So for one of these, you can totally use it as a, you know, this is the same material. So you can see the water level inside. That's what I was trying to say. And this translucent material comes in 5 more different colors. And one last product before I let you go tonight. This is one of my first orders of this new product called Heart Paints. These are propagation cutting paints. These are basically just the pins that you can pin down your propagation, your cuttings into the substrate so they don't fall over, tip over and fall out of the substrate. I'm trying to show you. Oh, this one is in the translucent mint color. And this is in the matte lavender color. I'm not showing the top. The top is just a little heart and it's sturdy. It's not gonna break off. This is just for ease of use so you can hold it, you know, without having to grab the whole thing. And these things, of course, are not like new inventions. They've been around for forever. This is what I used before I made my own. They're very similar, but it's just, you know, this very standard one. And I might have also included a bunch of these in like the free sample bags. I have a lot of extra stuff from ordering supplies. When you order inserts, there are these like a plant name tags thing that come in that for free. And there are these things sometimes coming with certain supplies I order. I have so many of these and I have like 500 of those dragonfly clips. So I try to always include a few things here and there as free, like just free gifts for customer to thank them for their support. So this was one of those that I used to send out. And one day I just decided, you know what? If I'm gonna send stuff to people, let me make my own. So yes, they are live on my site already. So I'm selling them now. They comes in 20 packs and 50 packs. I think I'm gonna turn off the camera now and I will see you another day when it's daytime. I am back. There are a few things working against me right now. First, it is very late. It's 11:30 at night, and that's why I'm talking with a very, very low voice already. And I have 2 3D printers in the same room that I'm sitting in. And yes, this is my dining room. I've done some plant chores here, and you've seen my dark, gothic, Ethereum alocasia corner before. And I do have 2 3D printers now in my dining room over on that side. It's a little too much work for me to show you right now. And that's also where my alocasia regal shield has been living in under the grow light ever since I switched up the position for it to be under a grow light directly so the leaves can be, oh my God, I'm so off topic. And the reason I'm here today is that I have to do a emergency repot for a few plants. And I feel like every single time I do these repots, it's always emergency. The reason is when I was first designing these 3D printed pots, I was experimenting with what kind of wicks to use. At first, I didn't want to go with the thicker rope I ended up choosing, which I'm so glad I stick with those because otherwise I would have such a big quality issue that it will definitely be overlooked during the initial production or testing because it's something that doesn't show until you've used it for a while. So these inserts are the ones I use for all my 3D printed pots. I have a few different styles, but this is one of those that I use for multiple different sizes, right? They have these very tiny openings, these slots instead of round holes at the bottom. So I think those traditional wicks are gonna be too thick for them. And yes, you can push them through with a tweezer pretty effortlessly, but I just thought it's such a pain for anybody that buys these from me. So I tried these things. I'm gonna have to go grab it to show you what they look like. Huntrix! That's what I'm rocking today. Because the other day when my daughter and Plant Daddy went to Target and they picked this out for me as kind of an early Mother's Day gift. I love it. So yeah, these are kind of the cotton, not even rope, like strings that I was trying out as the wick because, you know, they're much thinner and I think they fit through here much easier, right? However, I did have doubts that the quality of it, it's so thin, it's fully cotton, and I was thinking, what if they start rotting and fall off? Well, that's exactly what happened. So here's one. This is my pink Bambino. Now this Bambino, I didn't get it as a what's the word for that? Unflasked. You know, I didn't buy it in a sterilized, like a bag, like a sealed bag. This was one that was already acclimated to cabinet condition by someone local who bought the tissue culture originally, and I got it from Facebook Marketplace. And first, let me just show you how lovely this little thing is. It is currently growing a new leaf here, right here, and the variegation on this pink bambino has been very impressive. It's been not only retaining the high variegation, but it's not really browning off any leaves with a lot of variegation. Like, okay, this is the only full pink leaf it's ever gave me. Look at the purple on the back. So stunning. And yes, I know these leaves are not gonna stay for long, but I have to say, at such a young stage, it's holding on to this fully variegated leaf for a really long time now. So yeah, but that's not the point. I'm glad it's very healthy, but the point is, oh my God, this is so messed up. I took this plant out of the cash pot the other day, right? And this is what I saw at the bottom. I was like, what is that blob? Like, I'm not sure if it's focusing. Like, what is the blob of thing? Is it a bug? It looks like a pile of poop, but nope. Fortunately, it's not as disgusting, but it is part of the wick that rotted off. It just like, it was so thin, it completely decomposed. And see, it's like, I can still pull it apart like this. So yeah, that is not gonna work. So what happened to the rest of it? You know, you can still kind of, oh, these are all roots. These are not even the wick. So that's the roots from the bambino coming out, and still a little bit of the wick left here. I'm glad these are not rotten roots, but still, the wick fell off completely. So I have to repot it to insert a new wick, which reminded me I didn't even bring the wick with me. I'll go get that in a second after I show you the other one. This is in my Edge self-watering pot in the 3-inch size. The 3-inch is the one size that I get, I think the most order. No, I think I either get orders for those teeny tiny pots or the really big ones. But you already know I have bigger ones coming out. So for those that like things big. I really didn't intentionally do that, okay? One of you recently reminded me what this thing is. I am a mom that tells dad jokes. I really think Plant Daddy corrupted me. So yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, I have so many different colors of these 3-inch pots, all in the style Edge, sitting in front of me. And you probably noticed too that all of these, my own plants, are potted in the same one, because Edge is probably my favorite style. Yeah, so let me show you this one too. So it is a pink poly, and I've always wanted this plant really big, really huge. And this was kind of the plant that got me looking into more Amazonica poly in general, and how I ended up with my purpley. By the way, she is making a new leaf right now. I'm not gonna move her right now. It's really late. I don't want to make a lot of fuss, but I will show you maybe in a later update if enough of you are interested. My alocasias and anthuriums really deserve an update because all of them are like growing like crazy. And I also said in my last video, I technically lost the footage of a few anthurium alocasia repots. I think 3 anthuriums. I repotted them recently because the roots were all just going crazy, but I lost the audio for those footage, so I didn't include them in my last video. Anyway, so back to this. Yeah, it's going through the same thing here. You can see, if you can see, like these are the wick, or what used to be wicks. Oh, that's actually roots. Good thing is they are roots coming out of the bottom, so they were still able to taking up water after the wicks, you know, melted off. Look, like when I first saw this, I'm like, what are those? Are they worms? Do I have worms now? No, luckily that's not the case. Okay, so these two I have to repot today. And I also brought this guy, because in my last video I did mention my venom was having some root rot issue, and I already repotted it because I didn't want to wait on this guy at all, because I say because a lot of times I didn't want to wait on this guy at all because it's my very treasured alocasia, one of the most important alocasia to me. And it's always been pretty fuss-free. Just recently, it kind of rotted off some roots, and I think it was just due to me over watering it. I still don't know, or maybe it was in too big of a planter. Can't remember. Yeah, I think I might have upsized this plant a little sooner than it needed to be, so the root system was not big enough to take up all that water I was giving on a very regular basis. Oh, I think it's working on a new leaf. So since we're here and talking about it, I can show you right here. Yeah, see, sometimes this thing doesn't work. It's like showing better without my hand, like this little thing here, this little knob. That's a new leaf coming out. Let's leave it because I have the tendency to mess things up so easily. I'm very, very clumsy. I already repotted this one, and this is the kind of wick I'm talking about. Don't mind this one. This, like, it's one that I forgot to seal the ends with heat, so it's kind of coming undone. So maybe at some point I will need to replace the wick again, and that's why now I seal the ends of my own self-watering pots wicks, all of them. So it's good to seal the ends so it doesn't do that. But that's a wick I'm talking about, and I'm going to put those into the other two plants. Yeah, just want to quickly show this plant because it's probably my top favorite, not even just alocasia, but plants in general. And I currently have 8 corms growing, and I'm excited about that. So yeah, let me go grab those wicks and I will be right back. All right, so these are the wicks. I brought them with me, and I also brought my torch, torch gun, this thing, the fire thing. And actually, this was not mine. This was my husband's. He got this for his whiskey, the smoky thing. I don't know. I'm not a whiskey fan, so I don't really know about that. Oh God, I forgot to bring my tweezers. Like I said, without tweezer, you can't really put them in there. Okay, got my tweezer. This is the one I use to put in all of your wicks, if you've ever got one of these pots from me. So what I do first is just torch both ends. It's like very quick and painless, at least for me. Don't do this at home if you're a kid. And I recently also started to pinch the end while it's still hot, so it kind of becomes more flat like this. Can you see? Like the side profile, it's a little flatter, so it's easier to push it through. If it wasn't focusing, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do this part a little quicker, because sometimes what happens is after I heat seal it and leave it like this, it's too big and hard. It becomes hard and I can't really push it through the bottom anymore. Okay. So yeah, like this, and I can easily use tweezer to put them in. Now I don't need to use this because I already have inserts from these plants. The first thing I'll have to do is dump the substrate out. So I have a tray filled with old pong here. They are all pong mix that I've used for other plants before, and I have cleaned them, dried them, so they're ready to be used again. And I usually keep my pong mix when I repot unless there's disease, like rotted roots or something. Okay, quickly dump them out. Yeah, like there's even broken wicks on the inside of this pot. Okay, good thing it's just wicks that was rotting. Okay, let me just check the root system real quick, see if there's anything else nasty out there. I don't think so. So everything looks pretty good and very clean, pretty healthy. And I know some people might be screaming at their phone or TV right now, like, stop touching the roots. Like, I know I shouldn't touch them, but it's just, I don't get to see these roots every day. you know, when you take everything out and they're fully naked, you just kind of want to get your hands in there. What? Okay, that one was intentional, okay? Okay. So this is how I do it. Just one end. You know, it's not rocket science. I'm not trying to show too much detail. It's not a tutorial. Oh my God, I forgot. I actually brought these with me, the disposable gloves. Oh yeah, last time when I was editing the video, I noticed I said two words wrong: disposable and productivity. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just did it wrong. So yeah, I kept my words and I got these gloves this time, and I almost forgot to use them. They are a game changer. I've seen other plant tubers use them before. I used to think this is too much. Why do you have to do that? Don't you like to get your hands dirty? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. If we're into this hobby, we do like that. But I mean, most of us, at least, you know, in my experience. But the dryness is a real problem with pond and also with frequent hand washing. What is this? Is that just part of the wick? Yeah, whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna finish inserting this wick in there. And I hope the printer noise is not driving you crazy. If it's, you know, if I left it in the video, I would try to remove some of it with the noise reducing function, but not sure how much that will help in this case. But the good thing is one of them has finished printing, so now you're only hearing the other one. Right now, let's power through. Okay, just gonna pick up any of these pawns. Don't matter, but again, I have another question if any of you guys feel like answering in the comment. Do you pull your wick like all the way up, like around, I don't know, around here, the middle, the top third, or the bottom third? Like, where do you leave the inside of the wick? Do you leave it higher or lower? I think the pond itself, oh my God, too much. The pond itself can wick up water too, right? That's why ponds are good for a self-watering setup. But at the same time, I don't know, without wick, some of those plants with less robust root system will have a hard time absorbing water from the bottom. So yeah, leave it in the comment and let me know, what do you do with the wick inside of insert? Do you leave it high, medium, or low? Or it depends on the stage of the plant. Like I said, maybe it depends on the root size. I don't know. I've seen people doing all kinds of different things. Everybody has their own approach. So it's very hard for me to really know what's the best for them, because here's the thing, with plants, there's so many things that can go wrong at the same time. So I can never really pinpoint what could be the root cause of my neck. Ouch! You know, my challenge with certain plants. So I can't just say, oh, it's because where you placed the wick. So yeah, let me know. What do you do with it? God, I need to rinse this off later and get those disgusting things out. I mean, just, oh yeah, I have gloves now. I can touch them without feeling gross. Yeah, I still feel kind of gross. All right, a little better. So yeah, I'll leave it in for now. One plant done. Our, oh, I didn't show a close-up of this plant earlier. So my poly pink, the earlier leaves were not very variegated. This is one I actually received and bought as a tissue culture, and I, what's it called? Acclimated it myself to my cabinet condition. So I'm pretty proud of that. That was my first time doing it. And this newest leaf is showing more variegation. So I think this plant is pretty promising. And I haven't had it for that long at all. And oh, just a quick moment. One of the new color. It is from the Starlight series. Yeah, I do have these colors already listed on my Etsy. So this is not the newest color, but still pretty new. And I am absolutely obsessed with this whole, like, you know, galaxy celestial looking series. It's like blue and purple shimmer on this deep purple. It's all amazing. And also it's slightly translucent. Kind of hard to tell right here, but it's not completely opaque. If you hold it right against the light, you can see the purple coming through it. Later, I have to put some nutrient water in there, but now I'll just leave it there. Oh, yeah, I'll do this right now so I don't forget. I forgot the other reason I brought a venom here is I want to put it in another pot I just printed out, I believe today, with one of the newer materials. The same series as the, the one you just saw. This is this is kind of like a gray, translucent gray with like a pink and silver shimmer. If the camera doesn't catch this very well, then I might do a B-roll of these colors because, oh, pink, gray, and blue. Yeah. So this color is called Mercury, I think. And the other one is, which one is this? I think it's Nebula. Yeah, I think this one's Nebula. This one's Mercury. I brought this venom over because I printed this pot for it. I think, this silver color is just perfect for the silver venom. Yep. And oh, don't forget to pour the rest of the nutrient water in there. You don't want this one to dry. Okay, now let's get back to what we're doing. I also might change the pot on this one. Like this is one of my earliest test print. That's why it's in white. I printed a lot of test print in black and white because black and white filaments are the cheapest. That's why on my listings, they are the cheapestly priced. Oh my God. They're priced the cheapest on my listing. So I might change this out of that just because I have a lot of options on hand. I change it into this pink. Where's my tweezer? Ah. By the way, I have this not just for the wick. You can actually use this to torch 3D prints. Did I mention that already? Maybe. You can torch the 3D prints to get rid of little imperfections, especially stringy, hairy things. Okay. Is it cool enough? Okay. I hope I'm not just making you listening to my printer going Sometimes I said my printers are singing songs because there is a melody that I can hear. I hope I'm not going crazy. Okay, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to show you the close-up. It looks pretty identical to the other one. So, has some finer roots. At this younger stage, we have to always watch out for root rot if it's, what was I even trying to say? If the root system is finer like this. I think that's why I have a better track record with anthuriums because their root system is more robust. Thicker roots, in my experience, don't rot as easily. I don't know, it might just be me. Okay, fill this up. It's very easy repot, but it has to be done. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to take up any more water and bad things will happen for sure. Well, good thing is they are in my cabinets, so they had time there. Okay, so, ooh, that looks cute. Hot pink on pink bambino. What do you think? So yeah, I did the pink bambino. I did the pink poly. How do you like them? I think they're pretty cute like that. And also replace the cover pot for my venom. Oh, real quick, since I have this here, I was supposed to test out the sizing of this one tall version of the edge pot. And this is the kind of test I do. These rings, I call it a ring test. I just print out the top portion of the planter and use this to test the opening to see if it fit the, the planters. Where's the small one? I'm missing a small insert. Found it. So yeah, so what I do is I test this on one of these inserts. I turn it upside down because when you only print this portion of it, there's some give to it. So if you just try to, force it through, it wouldn't be really accurate because you can, if it's too small, you can still force it through there. So what I do is I turn it upside down and just let it fall and see if it fit. So in this case, that was a perfect fit because it just fall right in place without me having to do anything. But when you print out the whole planter, it's not gonna really go on like that loosely. Sometimes it will feel a little snug, but it still fit. It just, you know, when you have more, did I say volume? The whole thing printed out, it's more rigid, so it's not gonna be this flexible. Yeah, so that one is done. So I said so many times, I'm gonna be able to just print out a test model of this. I am done in terms of those repot, but I do have one bonus one. Let me set this on the side, these ponds. I'm gonna use my watering tray here. It's kind of wet. And I use a different one for that. What I need to repot is actually the first new plant I bought probably in the last 2 months. Yeah, I've been so good with not buying any new plants. But this one, I saw it today and I've been looking at it for the past few months. It's this guy. Yeah, I know it's nothing amazing. It's just a Hoya canosa compacta, the grain form, not even the variegated form. Well, I've always stayed away from this plant. For someone that's so into Hoya, why did you wait so long to get the compacta? Well, because it grows so slow. At least that's what I've heard. Because of that, I didn't want to put myself through that kind of pain. But I've been looking at this plant, not the particular one, but just this type of plant, every time I go to the nursery. And I've been thinking, well, what if I just get a green form one? Because that's the one they have. It's not expensive, it's pretty affordable, and I can get 2 of them, right, to start it off on the right track. So I have more strain of it to grow out at the same time. So I can get a fuller plant faster. But at the same time, because it's a green form, it's gonna grow faster than the variegated form. But also, I was like, I have enough variegated Hoyas. It's not bad to get one that's just green. There's nothing wrong with a green Hoya. I think the variegation obsession is slowly, no, it's not dying off. I'm still obsessed with all kinds of variegations. I mean, you can see, right, with alocasias too, especially with alocasias now. Not so much anthuriums. I don't like the variegated anthuriums. I think that's also why you don't see a lot of them, but I would never say never. Until somebody come out with a gorgeous pink anthurium variegation, then I might be like, take my money. Take all my hard-earned money from printing 1,000 pots. Yeah, so I'm gonna repot this into, well, probably one of my own planters. And I would choose a pretty one for it because I have so many options. I'm gonna decide on the pot size after I see the root system. I'm still gonna use this tray. I'm just going to dump these, soil. Because like I said before, I don't really keep soils when I get them from the store, even nurseries, because it depends. Like if I've bought things from a local plant shop, they use pretty good plant mix there, so I don't really need to take them out and dump them. But most like nurseries still use these potting mix. Oh, yeah, I was right. It's mostly like peat based, and this is like a solid piece. Yeah, and very, very dense. And yeah, and it's usually, the pot size is usually way too big for the plants in there. And I've said this in my old video, but I'll say again, for those of you that are new here, hi, if I didn't say hi already. These dense soil mix are usually okay for greenhouse, like the big mass production greenhouse. I don't know what they're supposed to be called. The big nurseries that smaller nurseries go to get their supplies. The wholesalers, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. They have a huge greenhouse that's in this ideal condition. Usually that means high humidity, high light all the time, and just water evaporation is faster, and the plants is in a very stable, consistent temperature, humidity, and everything. So they can grow in these potting media relatively well, I think. I mean, if they don't, then I don't think any wholesalers will be using this substrate, right? I'm trying to take more of this off. And peat moss is cheaper There's nothing wrong with using them. At least I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, there are certain questionable aspects of how they were sourced, but it's kind of outside of my control. Personally, when I make a potting mix, I like using cocoa coir instead, mostly because cocoa coir just cleaner, cleaner feeling and a lot more, I don't know if eco-friendly is the right word. It's just, I know where they're coming from. They come from cocoa husk. It's just, in my personal opinion, a better substrate base than peat moss, but I could be completely wrong or biased. It's just, I've been having good experience with cocoa coir, and I never really liked peat moss, or the plants I left in peat moss never ended up doing well. Yeah, so see, they put it in one of these, probably like 4-inch or 4-inch planter for just one of these, and I could totally fit 2 of them in there, no problem. That's the problem with, you know, a lot of the nursery. I want to share a groundbreaking experience today. I was actually able to pot up 2 plants with my son by my side. If you don't already know, my son is only 19 months old, and he's a very, very active, almost destructive little boy. So to be able to do that was very surprising and shocking to me. I found the key was to not say no to what he was trying to do, like meaning messing things up, digging his hands into things he's not supposed to, or try to pull on dangerous stuff. If I say no to him, he just feels the urge to go ahead and do that more, right? I can see the teenage years being problematic. But what worked for him was for me to say, oh yeah, you want to do that? How about we do it like this? Like giving him a alternative way to do it. So what I meant was he wanted to play with the palm mix. What I ended up letting him do was taking one of the scoop and just poke around with it. And when he wanted to touch the soil, I also gave him the scoop and kind of showed him how to scoop up soil. And he started scooping them up, and he's like, oh, this is fun, was giggling and laughing. And then he wanted to dump the soil in the scoop on the floor. Then I kind of just, you know, took his hand while he's holding this, like, oh, how about we dump it in here in this plant? So technically he helped me pot up those plants. Very impressive, especially for him. So that was a groundbreaking thing I did today. Yay, how amazing. Well, you know, if you're a mom, you know, that's actually quite amazing. Okay, well, I have to say the compacta feels very different than what I imagined. The leaves are not as thick as I thought they would be. I don't know, they almost feel like crunchy cardboards. It's a weird feeling. They don't feel like leaves. And yep, they definitely get dirty and hold on to the dirt because of all the little spaces in there. That's why I'm trying to be more careful. And good thing, my Planty scoop helps with that because of the smaller size tip. It's really, really easy to get into those spots. Yeah. And so far, that's also the feedback I've been hearing, that people really like that finer tip, allowing for those, you know, detail work. And another way I like to use it is actually how my son was doing, is like to poke it a little bit. I was just looking at the printer. It seems like it's still going well. Sometimes things can go wrong mid-print, and that really sucks because you can't just resume a print and everything goes back to normal. Even though, yes, technically, it will just pause most of the time and you can just resolve the issue and hit print again. It will start from where it stopped, but it's gonna be visible. That pause will be visible on the outside of your print in terms of finish. It will have a different finish, and because of the heat drop when the print completely stops, if you leave it there for too long, the heat will drop and the print will shrink. And then when you start it up again, the shrinkage and the new layer doesn't match, so there's going to be a visible line there. That's why it sucks when that happens. You kind of have to restart all over it again if that print is not for yourself. Like if it's for me, I will keep that print because it's fine. I can still use the planter. It's not perfect, but it's not that visible from far away. But if it's an order I'm printing for someone else, then I can't really send it out anymore because that's considered a pretty big flaw. I'm thinking about listing a, make a listing for these defect planters or other plant supplies for imperfect products that, had imperfections from the printing or things I try to fix with post-processing and then it doesn't look quite good. I'm gonna put all the products like that I think are still of very decent quality, that doesn't have a defect that will affect how it's used. I'll put them on that listing and sell them for a cheaper price. And I will list them each all individually I will put all the pictures of each of them individually. And I think what I'm gonna do is I will add more to the listing as some of them get sold. I don't know how that's gonna go yet, but that's kind of the plan. Let me show you the result. It's looking quite nice, quite full, but this is the size it is at right now. God knows how long it's gonna take till you start, draping down, but I'm not in a rush. I'm not. Doesn't have a cover pot yet. Currently, I can temporarily place it in this one. Like, yes, I do have one, but I've already done some experiment on this one. I'll show you real quick. It's something I haven't really put it on the schedule to sell as products because I don't think I have the time or the skill. I just don't think I have the time right now. It takes too much time. So this is one of the wave pot in the 4-inch size. And is it? Yeah, it's 4-inch. And I printed in this terracotta color. This is the first version, the early version of the terracotta material that didn't have those speckles. I have images on my listing. If you've seen that, you know what I'm talking about. It's just the material has been changed from the manufacturer. There's nothing I can do about it. The reason why I say this one, I can't really use this because I did some little art project on the side of it. So one thing great about these 3D printed products, especially the matte finish ones, you can paint them with acrylic markers. So if you are someone that's very good with illustration or painting, or you just want to have fun, you can actually buy these and paint it yourself with your own acrylic marker or acrylic in general with paintbrush. I know how to paint. I'm not someone that's like really good at it because I was not illustration major. I mainly deal with 3D, modeling, texturing, that type of stuff. 3D is still a little different than the traditional art. We were trained in traditional art, but we don't have as much practice as someone who actually majored in illustration or just someone that's, a painter in general. So I was kind of just messing. This is not a serious paint job, okay? So don't criticize me or don't laugh at me for how ugly it looks. Like I was trying to draw a Hoya Polinera out of variegated and I was just testing out the color combo and if the paint will stay on these materials. And yes, they do stay on. They not only stay on and they still look like the same color as when I first applied them. So yeah, that's a option. I do have a few other tests I did with the acrylic markers, but they look really cute, but I've decided to hold off on that aspect of the products because hand painting is going to take too long. I don't have the time to, but you have the option to paint your own planter if you want to get one of these. The terracotta color is really nice. Like I never knew I would end up liking this color so much, and this is probably the best one to paint with because it literally is kind of like painting a terracotta pot. Let me first put this plant in here. Yep, perfect fit every time. Actually, it doesn't look bad. Should I just keep it? Like, should I just finish painting this and keep it? that's an option. Okay, anyway, so this is tonight's emergency repot plus a new plant repot, and I'm gonna call it a night and go to rest. Yeah, my microphone's still working. Right, so good night.